Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special Hubble 25th Anniversary edition of our Hubble Hangouts. My name is Tony Darnell. I work at the Space Telescope Science Institute. And this week we've got something slightly different planned. As you've already noticed, this is a Friday and not a Thursday, but it's also a very important day. Today marks 25 years of the Hubble Space Telescope orbiting over the Earth. And we've been celebrating it all week. Yesterday was the Institute was full of activities, all kinds of really fun things. And throughout the year we've been doing social media activities and things like that. And so it's been a real whirlwind of activity. The show of support for the telescope from the public has really literally been overwhelming. I've been monitoring Twitter on my tweet deck, and it's been like an odometer with all of the tweets going on.
Oh, it's been absolutely, I can't keep up with it, and I try really
hard
to.
It got to a point where I just couldn't do it. So next week I'm going to be getting some statistics on some of this to see what happened. But I want to thank you all so much for the warm messages of congratulations and support for this wonderful telescope. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a minute and just kind of appreciate Hubble in a variety of ways. What we're hoping is that while we're on the Hangout, we'll get a lot of interaction from you guys. We hope that you will chat with us and talk with us and tell us what Hubble means to you, because we'd love to hear it and we'd like to talk about it today. And I guess I'll let Scott, do you want to tell people how they can interact with us?
Yeah, so the best way for you to interact with us, since you're watching us on YouTube, and is on the very bottom left, you'll see some gold lettering there. It says that we're answering questions, and it opens up the Q&A app, and it gives you a brand new experience. You can ask us questions, but also make comments. And what we're really asking for today is, how has the Hubble Space Telescope impacted you? Has it inspired you in any ways? And we have three amazing guests with us that created something through the inspiration from the Hubble Space Telescope, but we want to hear from you and how that's inspired you. So you can do that there with the Q&A app on YouTube and Google+. You can leave regular comments on YouTube and also in our event page. And I'll try very hard to monitor Twitter with our hashtag Hubble Hangout.
Yeah, the hashtag Hubble Hangout, I'm monitoring that too, so
right.
I'll be able to do that. So
I have Hubble 25 up too, but that is a whirlwind of everything that everyone's celebrating. If you want to, I recommend going through that hashtag just to see all the amazing announcements going on, but for this show we're going to be going over the Hubble Hangout hashtag, which is seen below out in Tony's lower third.
Wonderful. Thank you, Scott. And we're joining us, as she does every week, is Dr. Carol Christian. She is the Hubble Space Telescope Outreach Project Scientist. Welcome, Carol.
Hello.
Been a week, huh?
Yeah, and it's not over.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and get started. Joining me here at the Institute is Georgia Bladen. She is the Hubble Press Information Officer for the Hubble Space Telescope for ESA, the European Space Agency, and she ran she was in charge of the Ode to Hubble video contest. So welcome, Georgia. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much.
So tell us about tell us about your experience. How did it go?
It was fantastic. To sum up, I wanted to just thank everyone who sent in a video, everyone who took place in the crowd voting. I was absolutely blown away. Having the opportunity to watch all of the submitted videos, which I did, was incredible. Took a lot of time, but it was so rewarding because the amount of love and energy that people have put into creating these videos was, well, it just blew me away. So we started this competition back in February.
Right, I remember.
Opened up the entries then, and since then we had a whole bunch of entries. These were then shortlisted by you guys, the public, the community, on social media, on our website.
Now, how did that work? You had people you had them all listed and they just liked it on Facebook? Is that what they did? Or
essentially,
and you counted the number of likes?
Yeah, we used a program for it where it displays all of the entries in the two categories, because we had the under 25s, the born in Hubble's lifetime, as you will. And
the Hubble generation.
The Hubble generation. And then you had the over 25. So for each of those, it displays all of the videos. And yeah, you had to be logged into Facebook, and then you liked them. And the 6 with the highest likes in both of the categories were then shortlisted. And those were judged by our panel of judges, which was a mixture of scientists, science outreach professionals, artists. There were 4 of them in all. So a really mixed judging group, and in the end, as of today, we have 2 winning videos.
One from each category.
One from each category.
So why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's start with we have the winners here. They both agreed to join us in their hangout. I'm so excited they did. I'm going to let George introduce them, and what we're going to do is we're going to start after the introductions, and we're going to take a look at each video. So
first, we have the winner of our over 25s category, with a beautiful, beautiful video which you're about to see. Using, well, actually, you talk about it yourself. So here's, hope I get this right, Desiree. So if you could introduce yourself and just tell us a bit about you and your video.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am delighted to be here. It's an honor to me you have invited me. Anyway, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to participate to this Hubble Hangout. And I would like to congratulate the other contest winner, because I really enjoyed their video too.
I wasn't
Well, my video is divided into two parts. In the first part, I make a little reflection on the effect the Hubble discoveries had on me, and in the second part, I show of my own a sequence of my own creation photograph that we are inspired by Hubble images.
Wonderful. I have some comments that I'm going to make after we watch it, but Scott's getting it queued up for us now, and we're gonna take a look at it, and then we'll ask you some more about it. Okay? Are you ready, Scott, or do you need some more time? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Wow, that was absolutely stunning.
Nice, beautiful.
Amazing.
That's great.
Congratulations. That is an outstanding video. So you also composed the music for that, correct?
Yes, I have a band in the past, but and I'm sorry, I keep some song from that time.
Wow, it was absolutely beautiful. I tell you, when we got to the end of the first part, I actually got a little lump in my throat. I had a real emotional reaction to that part about our place, our home in the universe. That was an amazing part for me. It really affected me, and that's how you know you've got it. Because I've made 1 or 2 videos in my time, and when you can get an emotional reaction from something you've watched, that's hard to do. That's when you know you've hit it. You've really done. You've gotten it right, and I felt that way right at the end of that first part. Now, in you're also a photographer, correct? Those were your photographs?
Yes, I I was doing the photograph when the contest appears. Then I thought that it's a good chance to participate with my photograph.
And did you look at with respect to the Hubble images, did you see the Hubble image and then try to recreate that somehow with photography, or did you already have some images and tried to match them up with things that that you thought would be a good match with Hubble photographs or Hubble images?
Well, when I discovered the Hubble images, was very revealing to me, because I discovered that the universe was changing constantly. So I decided to make some Hubble images with movement shots to do the collection baryonic.
Oh, that's outstanding! Wow, that's the ones with that where you matched up the Hubble the Horsehead Nebula. I thought was right on. Those were really great photos.
Yeah. And as someone that I love doing photography myself, I was blown away by your photography skills, as well as I make videos. And like you're blending in the two things that really are passionate to me, and I really loved the way that it came out. So I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm happy that you have enjoyed it as much as I did creating it.
Do you have any questions you'd like to ask?
I understand that this is like a selection, that you actually have more photographs. The Baryonica
Yes.
collection is actually larger.
Yes, the total has 20 photographs, but
Wow.
in the video, to do the assembling, I need to concentrate on the photos.
Yeah.
And I choose the best, I think.
Do you have any? Are you an artist by trade? Do you do this for a living, or do you do something? Do you have a day job? That's what we could call it in America. Do you have a job that isn't being an artist?
Like a hobby.
It's like a hobby. I
hobby?
work like receptionist in my free time. I take photographs and I make music in the other hobby.
You've got a real future as an artist if you choose to pursue that even stronger.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, congratulations, Desiree. We appreciate you showing up for our hangout, and you're going to get an amazing prize. What did they win, by the way? We didn't talk about that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yes.
I'm so jealous.
Oh yeah, we're all jealous.
Okay.
So I hope you saw the anniversary image yesterday that was released. We've got you guys both a mounted image on like metal of that image. It's really high quality. And on the back yesterday, we skipped around and we got some astronauts and some astronomers who work here on Hubble to sign the back. So that's signed by astronauts and astronomers. And then we've also got, which is really special, these pieces of the first solar array from Hubble. So that was there from 1990 till 1993 on Hubble, and then it was brought down to Earth, and we've got these little bits of that solar array mounted in perspex. So it's literally a piece of Hubble that spent 3 years in space in a little bit of plastic. And they look really cool. Yeah. So those will be coming your way. So I hope you have somewhere.
Yeah, they're really great.
Yeah.
We really are all very jealous.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Can I change my contract and negotiate my bonus?
Yeah,
Really?
I'll tell you that it was quite a madhouse yesterday, but we got the astronauts to sign, so it was great.
That was all Carol, actually. She manhandled astronauts.
Oh, I did, yeah. I shoved them around for.
Which is worse than hurdling cats, right?
That's actually Carol's day job. That's her day job.
That's my day job. Pushing astronauts around. Go here, sit down, sign this.
Desiree, congratulations, and thank you for taking part in the contest.
Yes, congratulations.
Okay, so now the Hubble generation. What do we mean by that, Georgia?
People who were born in Hubble's lifetime.
Never known a world without Hubble. So the winners in that category are?
Haley and Martin. Congratulations.
Hi, guys. Congratulations. You don't know a world without Hubble. Does that mean anything to you?
Can't imagine it.
Wow.
Now, what's great about Hubble is that it was designed to be serviced by the Space Shuttle, and it's probably unique in almost anything we've ever put in space because I don't know if there's been very many other things like that that's been designed to be grabbed and put and fixed and upgraded throughout the years, which is why it's been up there so long. We don't do that with, as far as I know, any other thing. Maybe Carol can correct me if I'm wrong, but and so that's why it's lasted for 25 years, and we actually have a Hubble generation. So why don't you introduce, or do you want to? Should we just get to the video?
Well, I think you should introduce your video.
Yeah, why don't you? Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
That's a better idea.
Tell us about your video.
Tell us about your video.
Okay, our video is, I guess it has like some stop motion to it. We have photos that Hubble took, and it basically goes through how we started seeing the stars from sort of like from the ground. We couldn't get up there. We were able to paint, and how through science and through Hubble, eventually, step by step, we were able to actually have a set of eyes in space to see the universe.
It's truly.
And I guess that's part of it, that since we've never experienced a world without Hubble in our lifetimes, then seeing, like, that's where we were kind of thinking is, like, what were people thinking about the universe before Hubble and successive discoveries before that.
Yeah, so now while Scott gets it ready for us to watch, I want to remind everybody that I put the links to both of these videos on the description box. So it's in the description box of this Hangout, so you can watch them both on YouTube. Also, because it'll be slightly better quality, because we're rebroadcasting, it's going to maybe be a little bit more jerky in the video than it would be if you watched it on YouTube. So I encourage you to go straight to the videos themselves and check them out as well. And Scott, whenever you're ready, we can maybe take a look at the winner of the Hubble generation category. Incredible. Bravo.
Yay.
Very well done.
Nice.
Very well done,
Very
guys.
nice.
So my very first question is, I got to know, how long did that take to do?
What do you call that?
I guess
2 solid days?
2 solid days.
We had 2 solid days, and
No way.
then
I don't believe it. Not for a second. It had to have taken longer than that. That was...
That's the shooting.
that's just the shooting alone.
Haley did a week of prep with all the artwork. She drew like the telescope, the Hubble.
Yeah, right.
So how about
That
this?
was
You
great.
guys get a piece of the solar array. I want pieces of your artwork.
That's
Yeah.
right. You need to...
Fantastic.
Those are artifacts, too, now. Those are amazing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
really.
Yeah, you could. You could sell those on
I
eBay.
love that.
Beautiful work. Beautiful
Yeah,
work.
that was my favorite part, is the Hubble. Going to the telescope. That was great. Very good.
How do you do that? Do you have like a black background or what?
for which scene again?
For any of it, how do you do? What's
For
the
all of
technique?
Well, essentially, for everything that was like hand animation, we built a black box of foam core. So we had like a roof, and then like the sides and the back, and then we cut a little hole in the ceiling of that little black box, and then we had like a light going through. So it was almost like a stage atmosphere where, as soon as like it looks like this. So say stop motion of Hubble. Here he is. There's this platform. There's a stick, and then he's just mounted on this. As soon as he comes from the black box, like from behind, to like that point where the light is coming through in the hole, it's almost like a stage. So then it can create a dynamic sort of area where like their characters, so to speak, can come in and out. That's for the hand animation.
Great.
That with like some videos from like the NASA Hubble site and such.
So I loved all of that, but I have to say my favorite.
It's an old classic technique, though.
Yeah.
That is what's so amazing about it. People used to do puppetry and things like that. It's fantastic.
And
Yeah.
I love the way that you guys did the fly-through of the ultra-deep field
Yes.
in analog. That was fantastic. I think that was my favorite part of it. I've used that footage all the time in many videos I make, and I'm seeing it now in a completely different way. It made me rethink it. And I really
Well,
love
Tony
that you
must
guys
be
did
happy that both of you, both videos had Hubble Deep Field, because Tony loves the Hubble Deep Field.
it's
So
not the most
in
important.
both videos, we have the Hubble Deep Field.
That's right, Carol. You're going to get the message sooner or later. Important image ever taken. So, well, my favorite part, even with all of that, was the whiteboard parts, where you actually injected a bit of perspective into it.
That's very nice.
That, I think, was my absolute favorite part, because to provide perspective the way you did, by having that hand up there and then drawing how many galaxies might be in there, was really well done, and that was my favorite part. So,
I think that's the part that gives you that lump in the bottom of your throat again.
Yeah.
Your video did that as well,
Yeah.
and I think, the way you gave it perspective and scale, and
you
really
guys,
come away feeling like you've experienced something quite special.
like Desiree, you've got a future in art. So, what do you guys do in your actual non-making video time? Are you students? Are you? Yeah.
I don't know. I need other hobby, other contest.
Well, when Hubble gets to 30
We'll start it. Well, Carol, it's our turn. Isa did one. Now we've got to do something.
Now we have to do another.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know. What about you guys, Haley and Martin? What do you guys do?
I'm a camera
You're not making
assistant.
videos.
I'm a camera assistant in the film industry.
Oh, you already working. Oh, this
I
is
usually take notes though and like slate. So,
Good for you. Good for you.
What about you, Martin?
I work part-time in the film industry, but I'm in school now for astronomy.
Awesome.
Oh,
Outstanding.
good.
Where do you go?
Good.
Where do you go?
It's St. Mary's University in Halifax.
Well, good luck with that. Yes, that's a great major.
We actually have a plan for the piece of the solar panel. There's a observatory here that does public tours, and we're going to display it there so families can come and everybody can just see
Oh,
something.
that's nice.
That's so great of you guys.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
great.
Amazing.
That's really wonderful. I was going to ask you what you were going to do with it. There you go. Okay. Well, I want to thank all of the winners. You guys are truly inspirational. Thank you for sharing your video with us. Desiree, Haley, Martin, thank you for joining us in this hangout. Congratulations to all three of you.
Yeah, well done. Very nice.
Excellent
Thank you
work.
very much for all.
All right, you guys are welcome to stay, or you can hang out with us for a little bit longer. But again, I just want to give my congratulations. Reminding everybody, go see. I've posted all these videos all over the place. They're on our Twitter page. By the way, if you're not following us on Twitter at Hubble Telescope, you need to go to Twitter right now, type that in, and click follow. You also need to subscribe to us on Hubble Site channel on YouTube. It's because we are all over the place on in the internet sphere. So we hope you'll follow us, and we'll let you know everything interesting that's going on about Hubble. So I've posted the links to all of their videos here, and you can check them out, watch them as many times as you want. And was it a success, Georgia?
I think you only have to watch those videos to, judge for yourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there were so many. I mean, honestly, I was looking at, just a short list because I don't have a lot of time, but I was looking, and there were so many great submissions. I don't know how you guys were able to choose the best. You guys did an amazing job. There were just so many amazing things that came through. So I want to applaud all the people that made their submissions, because it inspired me just seeing all these different contexts of the way that Hubble has inspired them, and really kind of just rejuvenated some of my creative mind as well with the things that I create.
Yeah.
And that's worth mentioning, actually. First of all, yes, definitely worth thanking everyone on the shortlist as well. But we will also be putting all the rest of the videos on the Space Telescope website.
SpaceTelescope.org.
SpaceTelescope.org. We'll be putting those all up in the next couple of weeks so that you can browse through all of them, because we just want to acknowledge everyone who entered a video, because they were all fantastic. They all had their own little flair, their own little take on what Hubble had done and what Hubble meant to them. So we will be putting them all up to acknowledge all of those as well.
Yes. So. And I think let me actually, before I get there, I want a couple of comments. Michael Jobin on the Q&A app comments real quick that the deep field images are what the HST is, I think, all about. Are you listening, Carol? And the others of nebula and galaxies could be done by smaller space telescopes. Well, that's not fair, Michael. I mean, come on. They could be done by space telescopes, yes, but not at the resolution and clarity with which Hubble gives it to us. So there's always the atmosphere in the way with ground-based telescope. Hubble is uniquely perched above us to not have to do that. But yes, I couldn't agree more. The Hubble deep field is what Hubble is.
There's no bias at all.
Getting tired of hearing that, Carol? What else do we have here? Do you want to say something?
I was just going to say, I reckon I haven't actually counted, but I reckon a good 80% plus of the Ode to Hubble videos that came in had the deep field video.
So there was a bit of a bias.
It definitely inspires people.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about it so many times. It's truly, next to the video that these guys have made, nothing really gives us that much perspective other than looking at that image. I mean, it really shows you what our place is in the universe. So one of the things, Carol, I don't know if you want to talk about this or not, but I'd kind of like to bring up the subject of the sort of multinational partnership that is part of Hubble's mission. One of the things I've discovered this week is that, working with Georgia and with the guys over at NASA Goddard, is that you see all these things like SpaceTelescope.org, HubbleSite.org, and there's also a Goddard Hubble page. These are all parallel social streams that kind of highlight the partnership that we have in this mission. For example, Georgia's in charge of the European Space Agency component of Hubble Outreach. And so what I think, if you look at our Twitter page, you'll see things like our Twitter handles. You'll see 3 different Twitter feeds, for example. You'll see ours, Hubble Telescope. Yours is Hubble Space.
Hubble_Space.
Hubble_Space. And then there's another one that NASA Goddard runs, NASA Goddard. And so there are 3 streams. All of them are verified. We're all real. We're all part of the Hubble mission. But we all tell a slightly different story. And Carol, I wonder if you wanted to talk a little bit about the multinational nature of the mission.
Well, I think starting with the social media side, we always get frustrated because sometimes people say, why do you have so many streams? But you point out something interesting, is that each one of these sources of information has a different perspective. And so it gives you a different way of looking at the mission and how it affects society. So I think that's pretty important, that we don't just have, I mean, it's wonderful to live in an environment in which we're not only getting the NASA point of view, we're getting, you know, the public's point of view and ESA's point of view, and lots of different perspectives on the telescope, what people are using it to do, and how it affects them. The other thing is, I think that the international cooperation and this, both the science, well, the science is really multinational. Any more big programs have many, many people on them. I'm actually part of the team that did the anniversary image, and we're multinational. And some of the other programs that are being pursued to use Hubble and other telescope data are certainly multinational. In the early days of Hubble, it used to be kind of small teams and one or two collaborators, but now we need so much expertise that people who do different things and have different perspective on the data and how to process it and how to model it and all that. It's very important from the science side. From the technical side, it's also important as well, because we have instruments and the Canadian arm, and we really need those cooperations between the U.S., Europe, Canada, and any of the other partners we can partner with, because, again, it's a different technological perspective, but then integrating it together gives everybody a piece of the action. And so, you know, nations have an affinity with the telescope because they have a part of it. So I think it's really great, like the solar panels. I can tell you, my hat is off to ESA for chopping it up into pieces. I couldn't believe it when I was told that was happening. That would never happen in NASA. They would rather warehouse it than chop it into little pieces. And I think it's great to return to the public, you know, in displays and other means, pieces of this telescope. So it's very cool.
And I think you hit on a really good point that I really agree with too, is when you're talking about these different perspectives, and really that is what science is. We're trying to understand what's going on there, but it is storytelling. We're telling the story of what's going on in the universe, and we're all going to have different ways of finding out those answers and being able to bounce those ideas off. And I think it's extremely important that it's not just coming from one place, but it's coming from a global community of astronomers and engineers and astrophysicists that are able to look at the universe in a different way with the same amazing instrument. And I've been going over for the past few weeks just some of the different papers and stuff like that. And we have 12,700 academic papers that has come from the Hubble Space Telescope, and it's from people from all over the world. And that's extremely important, that it's made such a huge impact on our knowledge of the universe as a species over this past quarter century.
Yes, and I have a great appreciation for the scientific output, since I'm supposed to at least read the abstracts of every paper, and it's more than 2 a day. And it's more than I mean, it's really a fire hose of information of things that are being discovered. And we've just completed a week of a conference looking at not only what Hubble has produced in the past, but looking forward. What is it going to do in the future, and then how is it going to be in synergy with the James Webb, and then from there James Webb will take over when Hubble is no longer operating. And there's just some amazing science that has been done. And the great two big messages is that the longevity of the telescope is very important, because you know, when I was in 4th grade, it was all about taking snapshots and trying to model that. But since the telescope has been consistently in orbit, and it's so well calibrated that it's possible to compare the very first observations of an object with those that were taken last week, you can see changes in astronomical objects, and that can be modeled, and we're really understanding a lot more about the universe because of that very consistent data set. And whereas when you have other telescopes in the mix, that's great and it augments the entire picture, but having one telescope that's been doing all these observations is really invaluable.
So the one of the things I wanted to let everybody know is I want to remind everybody that we're hoping you'll leave us some comments and questions throughout this Hangout so that we can talk a little bit more. Please tell us what you think about Hubble and the impact it's had on your life. Carol, I want to ask you a little bit about the anniversary image. Yesterday I was at the museum yesterday, and I think Scott has a very nice representation of it as well. And so while he's queuing that up. Yesterday at the museum, in Washington, D.C. at about 9 a.m., Administrator Bolden and John Grunsfeld unveiled an image that celebrates 25 years of Hubble. You want to talk about it a little bit, Carol?
Sure. I do want to mention that also in January we revealed a precursor anniversary image of the favorite M16, the pillars, which also were in the videos that we saw and many other videos, with an infrared view. And the point was we had taken the M16, the Eagle Nebula, the Pillars of Creation a long time ago with the original camera, and now we've recently observed it, just to show that the telescope really has improved, it has much greater capability, and to show the comparison of the visual with the infrared. So for the anniversary itself, we wanted to kick off the year with the M16 because it's such a legacy, Pillars of Creation is a legacy, iconic image.
That's right, we did that back in January, if you'll remember.
Right, and the anniversary image, which Scott is showing, I'm actually on the science team for this, and it's just an amazing region. So what you're seeing is a star cluster. That's all the bright concentrated stars, more or less in the center of the image. And what happens here is this star cluster is not very old, a couple of million years old. And what happens is the gas and the dust that you kind of see off to the side, that material condenses, collapses due to its gravity. And sometimes you can have shocks where clouds run into each other and they compress. And what happens is in the center of that, depending on how much material is there, how violent the collapse and how strong the gravity due to the amount of material, you can get a large or small star cluster. So this is a healthy star cluster. It's not the biggest star cluster we've ever seen, but it's very healthy. And the reason that the stars are different brightnesses is because they are different masses, and so the brightest ones are the biggest mass, but you can also see this plethora of very tiny fainter stars that are less than the mass of the sun. The interesting thing is that that cluster, those bright stars in the cluster, have blown away and basically carved out away from the material out of which they were born the cloud, and what you see is a residual. So some of that stuff is being blown back, and that's why you see those finger protrusions, which we've seen in many nebula, and that means that the light is carving out and blowing back the material, and so the fingers are more dense than the surrounding area, and so it kind of pushes away some of the lighter, more diffuse material. And the different colors represent, the reason that we use these colors is, first of all, we want to show the colors of the stars, and it's a balance of how to do the image processing. The first thing you want to notice that the little stars are red. That's because they are cooler than the bright bluish stars. And the second thing is that there are also some observations using very narrow bands that sample carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen, and those cause the nebula to it emits in those different wavelengths, and that tells you something about its composition. So there's a lot of astrophysics going on in this picture, and in addition, on the website there is a movie of this region that our folks have done, which is just spectacular. Yeah. And I just wanted to mention one other surprising result. Westerland 2 has been known for a long time. It was named after a guy named Westerland who discovered it looking at photographic plates. This cluster is actually two clusters. There's one behind the other. And there is a paper, a scientific paper coming out about the fact that there are two clusters, and in fact, overnight, after the party last night, one of our astronomers sent to our deputy director a whole theory about the two clusters and how the bow shock from the one went to the other and all that. So, you know, he was thinking about this as soon as he saw the image, right? Because he does that kind of work, but he's actually not on the team. So he immediately created a model yesterday afternoon about how this whole thing works. So it's actually two clusters, one in front of the other. They appear to be very close to the same age, but it is suggestive that one cluster, perhaps the smaller cluster, triggered the formation of the larger one, which is nearer to us. So it's a very, very interesting cluster, and a lot of this was a complete surprise to us because it had never been studied very well before. But it was a great choice for the program. We got the observations, and once we got the observations last fall, we all kind of went, oh, this is going to be spectacular. So we actually augmented the core observations with some others so that we could really enhance the clouds as well.
Very nice. So I'll remind everybody you can download this on hubblesite.org. Also go to hubble25th.org to get both the image and the video. The video is also posted on YouTube on our Hubble Site channel. So you can check them out and watch them all you want. I'm going to get to a couple comments here. Craig Landon is saying, can't let this anniversary go by without mentioning the Shoemaker-Levy comet collision. The rise of the World Wide Web, allowing us to download the deep field. Remember Netscape? Yeah, sadly I do.
yeah, Netscape.
And the astronomy picture of the day, all combined, allowing us to watch what the scientific world is seeing. That's an excellent point, Craig. It's true. Without the internet, we wouldn't have access to this data so quickly, and the images wouldn't be. We'd have to get mailed a picture, I guess, or a printed picture or something like that. So, and the Shoemaker-Levy comet event was one of the most spectacular, wasn't it, Carol?
It was quite remarkable, and actually it was brought up this week, and I wanted to pitch a little bit about the solar system observations that have been done. There have been a lot. For a while Hubble was kind of the Mars Weather Channel, but also with the ultraviolet capability, no kidding, I mean they actually, before there were satellites orbiting Mars, Hubble observations were often used to see where the dust storms were and where good locations were for landers. So Hubble actually contributed quite a lot to Mars exploration. But on top of that, observations in the ultraviolet have been done of aurora on several of the planets, and in particular Jupiter and Saturn. And the amazing thing to me, which I guess some of us in the audience remembered and some of us did not, is that when Shoemaker-Levy hit Jupiter, it actually triggered a disruption in Jupiter's magnetic field, which manifests itself as bright spots in the aurora, which I hadn't appreciated had happened. Usually the auroral field in Jupiter is kind of a circular cap, and so these bright spots show up. Now we've known that bright spots show up also from the interaction between Io and the other satellites of Jupiter, but I didn't realize that Shoemaker-Levy, by hitting the planet, actually disrupted the magnetic field and created a signature way up in the pole of Jupiter. I mean, that stuff, he can't make that stuff up.
Right.
It's like,
well, you can, but you'd be wrong.
Right.
You could make it up, but it wouldn't be as good. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, John Murphy is commenting, the Hubble birthday is the same as mine. Well, happy birthday, John.
Yay!
Yay! Ben Gasly is commenting, the magnificent Hubble deep sky images encouraged me to look further into the science behind them. Since then, I've participated in many online astronomy courses. You know, that's a good point. That's true. It gets people kind of motivated to learn more about this stuff. And people, so even I've heard of people becoming or trying to become astronomers or engineers or something as a result of it. So that's really important too. Let's see. Michael Jobin, he's saying again that I bought a 12-foot C-band satellite Earth station just to see the launch of HST in 1990. That changed my life. Wow, you are hardcore, Michael. So, Carol, I have a question for you because I've been getting it on social media, and I really don't know the answer to it. as we were, obviously this week there's been a lot of top 10 images, top 10 thises and that's for Hubble. Is there a top 10 list of the most top 10 papers of the most that involve Hubble data, like the top 10 most cited Hubble data papers? Am I asking that in a way that makes any sense?
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't have that list on the top of my head, but certainly the whole series of the expansion of the universe, which I mean, there's a whole series of those papers, and so
the one that got
that was a really a big watershed from the Hubble Deep Field, of course.
I'm just saying.
I know you are. But then the follow-up observation.
She's just pandering to you. Don't worry, it's okay.
Of the acceleration of the universe, for which the trio, Adam, Brian, and Saul, won the Nobel Prize. So that acceleration in the universe has then spawned a whole industry in dark energy. So they all quote that paper, of course.
Right.
So that's another highly quoted paper. There are several in the study of exoplanets where, like the first transit that was observed by Hubble, and also the other one where Beta Pictoris, where the actual, and in fact that was in one of the videos of where a planet, the trace of a planet was actually detected by Hubble. Those are kind of iconic papers. I mean, they were hard to do and very speculative at the time, but they are always referenced in the subsequent observations done by Hubble. So so it pretty much covers the gamut. From the solar system all the way out, but I would say probably the cosmology stuff is the most.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we should do is maybe put that together somewhere, and I should post it on social media. I have a great question for the contest winners. This is from Cecil Morgan.
Actually, can I just tell you, the most cited paper is a calibration paper. To be fair.
Okay.
Science isn't always exciting when you're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm remembering the statistics, and
it's
it's calibration of what pick two or something. Anyway, go ahead.
The thing about science, just because it's highly cited, doesn't necessarily mean it's
well,
right.
It's important, but it's not a science result.
Cecil Morgan has asked a great question to our guests. I'd like to get your thoughts. This is a great one. What are the contest winners' favorite HST image? Let me start with you, Desiree. You're muted, so unmute yourself if you could. There's a button at the top. Do you have that? Okay, I'll go to. You're muted. Okay, let me go to Haley and Martin real quick. What are you guys' favorite HST image?
I guess I like the one that was just released, the Hubble 25th anniversary image.
More than like.
Yeah, I cried when I saw it. It was so beautiful.
Wow.
I just felt really touched by this incredible image.
Yeah, they are moving, aren't they? I mean, you see them and it's like, take your breath away.
So much detail, so much color.
So many different things going on.
Yeah.
Haley really likes like globular clusters when we look at them in the telescope.
Okay, a woman after my own heart. That's my field. I love clusters. Yep. I'm with you on that. Tony gives me a hard time about it. In fact, everybody does. I'm like, oh, why are we doing that globular cluster? And it's like, but they're great.
They are great.
I love clusters. I love clusters.
Do you remember how you described the Hercules?
Oh, like fireworks?
Frozen in time?
Frozen in time. Fireworks frozen in time. That's how I described Hercules when I first saw it.
That's beautiful.
I didn't know what it was.
Desiree, do you have a favorite HST image, Hubble image?
I remember that the first image that I saw was the pillars of creating, and it seemed very wonderful, not only because it's beautiful, but also the explanation I found on the Hubble web page. I mean, about how new stars are born there.
Yeah, that image is also kind of an icon of Hubble. Yeah, that's a beautiful image. Yeah, and there is a little, there's a whole, like Haley and Martin were saying, there was a whole lot going on in that image too. I guess is that a theme? We try to pick images where there's just so much going on. Carol?
No, I think. Well, of course, we look for images that actually. Well, we have two programs. One is the science program where we do newsworthy things, and the other is heritage, where we just pick images that are really stunning that we want to show and share with the public. And I think the heritage program, which has most of the images that people think about, except for the Hubble Deep Field, are chosen because the nebula are so striking, and each one is different. Even in a class like planetary nebula, they're all different. They're not the same. So it's like amazing.
Someone's getting Skyped.
Sorry.
So Tony, so we've talked about everyone else. I know we've talked about you and your Hubble Deep Field, so let me put that up, and then I want to hear from you about why it's the most important image to you. So let me screen share this real quick. And so this is, and again, all these images that I'm sharing here, this is on hubble25th.org, so you can see all these images, plus any of the associated videos and press releases that go along with them, and high-resolution copies. And I believe also, Carol, there are printable PDFs for these images so people can make posters. Is that right?
Yes, yes. The Hubble site has a place where you can go and print out
Awesome.
At the highest resolution. Yeah.
So Tony, tell me about your love of the ultra deep field, because you've been kind of subtle about it.
I'm sorry. There are the images you can get in various formats, but on the Hubble 25th, there are for those 25 images. There are poster ready. Yeah, poster ready, not just images for framing, but poster ready.
Yeah, you can go to a large format printer like someplace, and I can't say names, but
we can Kinko's. You can go to Kinko's.
Oh, okay, we can. Okay, I didn't know.
I think it's on the website. So. Yeah. Anyway, your favorite printer.
I was in college when the first deep field came out, the very first one, and then I thought it was great. I didn't really understand it, and then this came out in 2004, and I learned how it was taken. And once I learned how it was taken, and that it was kind of a risky image to make, and we didn't even know what we'd see, and then they looked at this area of the sky for 11 days and then saw all these galaxies. It literally changed my life. I was so inspired by that I started making videos about it and things like that. It was a very humbling image. It was one of the few images that really gave me true perspective about what my place was in the universe. And so that's why it's my favorite and always will be.
And I will put up what mine is, and what I think is my favorite image from all this is the Crab Nebula. So, and then the reason behind this is, let's make sure it gets screen shared properly, is this is something that humans saw happen 1,000 years ago. So we saw the supernova. So this is something that within...
We're actually not seeing it, Scott. We're just seeing your icon.
I'm seeing it.
Oh, are you? Let me refresh.
I am.
I apologize. I'm seeing it now.
Okay. This is a supernova remnant, and so the supernova that happened with this was observed by humans, and we've actually have seen writings about this. And we've been able to study it over time. And first of all, it's a beautiful image anyway. But the fact that this is a beautiful, wonderful scientific, we can learn a lot of science about what's going on here. But it's happened within the human timeline. And where a lot of the other things, like the ultra deep field, which I'm not going to bash or anything like that, but these things are happening billions of years ago. But this is something that happens within the human context, and it helps us understand and get a different timeline of what's going on in the universe. So for me, I've always really loved the Crab Nebula because we as a species can connect to it, because we've been able to see it grow over time. And that we don't necessarily get that opportunity with many astronomical images.
I know. That's the thing that's kind of blown me away about the way that astronomy has exploded this in the past couple of decades. And now we can make movies of things like supernovae and galaxies rotating and things like that. It's just really amazing. So, Carol, what's your favorite?
You see, people ask me that
Yes.
Our news chief just asked me to write that up for somebody, and I said I won't do it, and I won't because I don't have a favorite. I like so many of them that I can't choose one over the other. I
They're
rather
all your babies.
no,
They're all
yeah,
your babies.
I
and you love
really
them the
like
same.
Westerland 2, which was released yesterday.
Yeah,
But
it's quickly becoming
I'm a cluster person, so I tend to like the clusters like NGC 3603, NGC 602. I'm going to throw these numbers out, but I love globular clusters as well.
They're very globular.
They're great. I love, and then also observing the clusters in other galaxies like M31, M83. So that's kind of my theme is clusters. I think the planetary nebula are really fantastic, but if I can be pushed into a category, which would be the clusters, but I can't pick one image because they're all so great for different reasons.
Fair enough. Georgia?
Yeah, Georgia.
I saw that coming. To be honest, I really loved the infrared version of the M16 that we put out in January. So like the pillars
Yep.
in infrared, I thought when I saw that I was just, it's an image that you really recognize and it is very iconic. And to see it in that different wavelength gave it just a completely different look, a completely different feel. I thought aesthetically that was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the actual feeling that you get when you look at something, I think the ultra deep field is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are you gonna do a touchdown dance?
Yeah, I was gonna say. See, so some of it is since I've been with Heritage for so long. Some of it is actually the whole process of arguing over getting the images and exactly what filters to take and all that. The other one was the horse head. The horse head was a stunner. When we did it, we had many arguments about how we were going to do that image. And in the end, we threw all our eggs in the infrared basket. And when we took it, we had all these arguments of it. We're not going to see anything, and how much of it, and how's the mosaic going to be done, and all this stuff. And then in
we
the
get
end,
this.
then the day, we had processed it, and we all had our meeting. And it came up on the screen, and collectively we all went, oh, whoa, that looks way better than we thought.
Okay,
and the guys did a beautiful job of the 3D movie.
I agree. That was an outstanding image. So we've only got a couple of minutes left. I just want to get a couple of real quick comments in from YouTube. Here is one. Well, no one from Moondraw3 from YouTube. Well, no one else has said it, so I am going to. Happy birthday, Hubble. Thank you for the many wonderful images over the years, and hopefully many more to come. You have made the space geek happy. Same here.
Great.
Awesome.
Happy birthday, Hubble. Okay, couple of things on Twitter that I just want to mention real quick. Lots of people congratulating Hubble on its. There's an ebook. We should talk about that. There's an ebook that just come out. That's on. Where can I get that, Carol? Shoot, I wish I had that URL handy.
I have that URL up.
That's why you drive the internet, Scott. You're awesome. Thank you.
I have that up here. So let's hear that. So this is our ebook, and it is fantastic. And I am not saying it because I'm biased, but it really is amazing, and I've had so much great feedback from many people out here. But you can go to hubble25.org/images/26, or you can actually just see it from the main page. You can go there and explore and find it, and it's going to be in our resources. You can get it from the Apple iTunes store. You can download it as a PDF and an EPUB. So for many different types of tablets, you can get this, and it is wonderful.
Yeah, so definitely check it out, folks. We've got a lot of tweets from people, the Canadian Space Agency, lots of people wishing Hubble a happy birthday. Everybody's got posting pictures and just being wonderful all around in the Twitter sphere. So thank you all very much.
I did want to share one thing from Twitter because it really made me laugh.
Thank you for not letting me forget that. Yes.
So I put out a call to action, say, let us know how Hubble has inspired you. And we've got a lot of responses, but my favorite by far is from Paul. And I'm going to just screen share this real quick. Paul the Fourth, @Paul the Fourth on Twitter. has an amazing tattoo of the Hubble Space Telescope
Oh my
on
goodness.
his arm.
That is hardcore. Look at that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Whoa. That's amazing.
So my hat is off to you, sir. That is fantastic. And talk about actually being inspired and going the full length. You went through some pain for that, and that
You sure
is
did. That was
wonderful.
not easy. But it's good work, too. Whoever did that was really a good artist. That's awesome.
It looks like it's at Tattoo Connor, so there you go.
Ah, there you go.
If you want your very own space tattoo.
Well, we're going to plug those guys because that is awesome. Thank you, Paul. That's outstanding. Okay, folks, we are out of time, sadly. I hope that you enjoyed the special Hubble Hangout that we've had for the 25th anniversary. Here's hoping Hubble will stand another 25 years, and Hubble certainly has a lot of life left in it. Next week, we are hoping we'll be back at our regular time, Thursday at 3 o'clock. We're hoping to do and schedule a hangout on Frontier Fields, get an update with the latest. They are halfway through the 6 clusters that they're looking at. We hope to have some people on board, but we have not confirmed it yet, so that may change. But we will be back next Thursday, 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. Thank you all for watching. Happy birthday, Hubble. Thank you, Scott and Carol. Yes. And congratulations, Desiree and Martin and Haley. You guys are awesome. Great work.
You guys are
fantastic. Thank you.
All right, that's it for this week, folks. Thank you for watching. And as always, keep looking up.
Keep looking up.
Okay, well, so let me go ahead and get started. Joining me here at the Institute is Georgia Bladen. She is the Hubble Press Information Officer for the Hubble Space Telescope for ESA, the European Space Agency, and she ran she was in charge of the Ode to Hubble video contest. So welcome, Georgia. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much.
So tell us about tell us about your experience. How did it go?
It was fantastic. To sum up, I wanted to just thank everyone who sent in a video, everyone who took place in the crowd voting. I was absolutely blown away. Having the opportunity to watch all of the submitted videos, which I did, was incredible. Took a lot of time, but it was so rewarding because the amount of love and energy that people have put into creating these videos was, well, it just blew me away. So we started this competition back in February.
Right, I remember.
Opened up the entries then, and since then we had a whole bunch of entries. These were then shortlisted by you guys, the public, the community, on social media, on our website.
Now, how did that work? You had people you had them all listed and they just liked it on Facebook? Is that what they did? Or
essentially,
and you counted the number of likes?
Yeah, we used a program for it where it displays all of the entries in the 2 categories because we had the under 25s, the born in Hubble's lifetime, as you will. And
the Hubble generation.
The Hubble generation. And then you had the over 25. So for each of those, it displays all of the videos. And yeah, you had to be logged into Facebook, and then you liked them. And the 6 with the highest likes in both of the categories were then shortlisted. And those were judged by our panel of judges. Which
I show of my own a sequence of my own creation photograph that we are inspired by Hubble images.
Wonderful. I have some comments that I'm going to make after we watch it, but Scott's getting it queued up for us now, and we're gonna take a look at it, and then we'll ask you some more about it. Okay? Are you ready, Scott, or do you need some more time? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special Hubble 25th Anniversary edition of our Hubble Hangouts. My name is Tony Darnell. I work at the Space Telescope Science Institute. And this week we've got something slightly different planned. As you've already noticed, this is a Friday and not a Thursday, but it's also a very important day. Today marks 25 years of the Hubble Space Telescope orbiting over the Earth. And we've been celebrating it all week. Yesterday was the Institute was full of activities, all kinds of really fun things. And throughout the year we've been doing social media activities and things like that. And so it's been a real whirlwind of activity. The show of support for the telescope from the public has really literally been overwhelming. I've been monitoring Twitter on my tweet deck, and it's more like it's been like an odometer with all of the tweets going on.
Oh, it's been absolutely, I can't keep up with it, and I try really
I know
hard to.
It got to a point where I just couldn't do it. So next week I'm going to be getting some statistics on some of this to see what happened. But I want to thank you all so much for the warm messages of congratulations and support for this wonderful telescope. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a minute and just kind of appreciate Hubble in a variety of ways. What we're hoping is that while we're on the Hangout, we'll get a lot of interaction from you guys. We hope that you will chat with us and talk with us and tell us what Hubble means to you, because we'd love to hear it and we'd like to talk about it today. And I guess I'll let Scott, do you want to tell people how they can interact with us?
Yeah, so the best way for you to interact with us, since you're watching us on YouTube, and is on the very bottom left, you'll see some gold lettering there. It says that we're answering questions, and it opens up the Q&A app, and it gives you a brand new experience. You can ask us questions, but also make comments. And what we're really asking for today is, how has the Hubble Space Telescope impacted you? Has it inspired you in any ways? And we have three amazing guests with us that created something through the inspiration from the Hubble Space Telescope, but we want to hear from you and how that's inspired you. So you can do that there with the Q&A app on YouTube and Google+. You can leave regular comments on YouTube and also in our event page. And I'll try very hard to monitor Twitter with our hashtag Hubble Hangout.
Yeah, the hashtag Hubble Hangout, I'm monitoring that too, so
right.
I'll be able to do that. So
I have Hubble 25 up too, but that is a whirlwind of everything that everyone is celebrating. If you want to, I recommend going through that hashtag just to see all the amazing announcements going on, but for this show we're going to be going over the Hubble Hangout hashtag, which is seen below out in Tony's lower third.
Wonderful. Thank you, Scott. And we're joining us, as she does every week, is Dr. Carol Christian. She is the Hubble Space Telescope Outreach Project Scientist. Welcome, Carol.
Hello.
It's been a week, huh?
Yeah, and it's not over.
Okay.
Was a mixture of scientists, science outreach professionals, artists. There were 4 of them in all. So a really mixed judging group, and in the end, as of today, we have 2 winning videos.
One from each category.
One from each category.
So why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's start with we have the winners here. They both agreed to join us in their hangout, and I'm so excited they did. I'm going to let Georgia introduce them, and what we're going to do is we're going to start after the introductions, and we're going to take a look at each video.
So first, we have the winner of our over 25s category. With a beautiful, beautiful video which you're about to see, using, well, actually, you talk about it yourself. So here is, hope I get this right, Desiree. So if you could introduce yourself and just tell us a bit about you and your video.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am delighted to be here. It's an honor to me you have invited me. Anyway, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to participate to this Hubble Hangout. And I would like to congratulate the other contest winner, because I really enjoyed their video too.
I wasn't
Well, my video is divided into 2 parts. In the first part, I make a little reflection on the effect the Hubble discoveries had on me. And in the second part,